Gaming is changing. I mean, quite literally. We're about to cross over into a new generation of new consoles, and new ways to play, and new ways to pay. And for a long time, it seemed like us Nintendo fans would be sitting this cycle out, letting PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X carry forth the torch of bold new visions for gaming. But now, it feels like us and Nintendo may enter the arena as well. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're having a wonderful day and hope you're excited for all that's coming. I feel like we are at a big crossroads. We got games from the past in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection hitting our hands this week, and we got games from the future off in the near distance. But how will Nintendo engage and interact with this big move? For a while, it seemed like they won it all, but recent rumors and reports from Bloomberg, amongst other credible sources, say that Nintendo is getting in on the action by delivering a 4K Switch Pro in early 2021. Now, smash that like button if the prospect of Nintendo going ham gets you excited. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of how the tides are turning and how gaming is changing. One thing that's very interesting is the new way to pay for these systems. And it could come to Switch Pro as well. In fact, we're already seeing on Gamestop.com a way to pay in increments for your Switch. If you don't have a Switch and you don't have $300 up front, GameStop offers the option to pay 4 installments of $74.99 to get that system now and pay for it later. We know that Microsoft is being very aggressive with their All Access plan, offering $25 and $35 a month plans in order for you to pick up an Xbox Series S or Xbox Series X without having to pay the big kahuna amount up front. This reminds me a lot of how Apple and cell phone companies changed the game by offering these 2-year extended payment plans with no interest instead of requiring you to make a big investment up front. And it's going to allow a lot of players, especially new players, to get in on this next generation, whereas previously they couldn't. And imagine how that'll play out for Nintendo. It might be more important than ever. If Nintendo decides to adopt a payment plan, or if retailers see so much success with Xbox's All Access and the inevitable plans for PlayStation 5, maybe they'll introduce their own payment methods for a Switch Pro. Because this is no ordinary cycle transition for Nintendo. Whereas Microsoft and Sony are moving from one generation, specifically the next, 4 to 5 for example, the Switch Pro seems like it will be a half step. And it might be harder for players to justify spending $300 or $400 on a beefier Switch Pro that plays the exact same games as the Switch. But imagine if you could walk in to Best Buy and they said, hey, you want this Switch Pro? Breath of the Wild 2 is launching with the system. It's going to look amazing. 4K Nintendo games for the first time ever. I mean, close your eyes and imagine playing Super Mario Odyssey 2 in 4K. Yes, we're excited for 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. Those games are great, and I cannot wait to stream them with all of you on Thursday. I'm doing a series every day this week highlighting why the games are so special and which one you should play first, so make sure to check those out and subscribe if you haven't already. But those will look nothing like the prospect of Mario Odyssey 2 in brilliant, crisp, bold, vibrant, bright, and amazingly engaging and immersive 4K for Super Mario Odyssey 2. Breath of the Wild 2, its big world, looking so vast, so much depth and better load times, more power, a crisper screen. This Switch Pro could change things for Nintendo, but it'll be hard to collect the change for an upgrade that plays the same games when you know you could keep your current Switch, sacrifice some visual prowess, and still be able to play. But if you could, as I said, walk into Best Buy and pay $20 a month to get this Switch Pro, would you do it? Would it change the dynamic for you and make you far more interested in this new system? Yesteryear, when I was little, if you invested in a Switch, or maybe you even doubled down and got a Switch Lite, and then out of nowhere they released a Switch Pro, you'd be so bummed. You just dropped your hard-earned dollars, and now you gotta do it again? So you have two options. You either say, well, I gotta wait a few years, or you bust your butt mowing lawns, doing extra chores, trying to pick up a babysitting job, maybe selling some stuff on eBay, and rake in the couple $100 to stay up to date, to stay current, to be that gamer that you always want to be. Now, in 2020, things have changed completely. You don't need to rush out and rally around a couple $100. You just need $25 a month. It is incredible to me that for $25 a month, you can get in on Xbox's new generation of consoles. You can get their much beefier processing power. You can get their 1440p or 4K 60 gameplay, and you can get access to the next-gen games, things like Godfall and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You don't need to fork over $400 or $500. I mean, you will eventually, but not up front. And this is a massive shift, and it allows for so many more players to move along steadily. It's almost required at this point because games cost so much to develop. We see Xbox even trying to spread their lineup across consoles that date back to 7 years ago. They don't want to leave those players behind. One, because it's consumer friendly, and two, because they need the install base to justify the cost of these games. And when you can sell to millions more players, you're able to invest more heavily in the games and maybe even take more risks. That's something I love about this, that game companies can take risks knowing that more and more players will be able to enjoy. And the same goes for Switch Pro. As long as the games are consistent and carry over, you can play them on your Switch, your Switch Lite, or your Switch Pro. They know that they'll have a massive install base. As compared to, hey, this game only works on Switch Pro, maybe you only have 1 million or 2 million people at the start. And now with these investment installment plans, you will build out and blow out that install base much faster. When you look at the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, if those things sit at $500, they still sell well. There are plenty of excited gamers who will save their money or combo their Christmas gifts and get one of these guys right at launch. But many more can't afford it. And now, a good chunk of those will be able to dip their toes into the waters for just $25 the first month. November rolls around, money is tight, cash is hard to come by, the economy struggles, the world is in shambles, but $25, that's manageable. And yes, again, you do pay the full amount over the course of the 2 years, but just like we saw with cell phones, it's far easier to upgrade when that amount is spread out. And now you have many players that have the new system and can take advantage of the new technology, and it makes it more enticing for developers and publishers to push towards that higher end. Eventually, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 will see exclusives that are only on those systems. I mean, PlayStation 5 is doing it already. They're not as interested in these payment plans. They're not as interested in covering the gamut of systems released over the last 7 years. They're more forward-thinking. But I think Nintendo and Switch will adopt more of a Microsoft-style strategy. Because in my opinion, and based on everything we've read, the Switch Pro isn't the Switch 2. It is merely the next in this current cycle of Switches. And therefore, it needs to maintain a consistent player base. And to be a valuable and viable part of Nintendo's ecosystem, it needs to have a substantial install base. I remember being excited for the new 3DS. The promise of a better handheld that had a little analog stick was very exciting. I got one on launch day because I thought it would be super cool. And then it wasn't, because hardly anyone bought them, and hardly anyone made games for it. And it really didn't feel like that much of an upgrade at all, and I kind of regretted making the purchase. I hope that Nintendo is able to leverage these payment plans and some better marketing ideas, as well as a smarter price point, to encourage developers and publishers to take advantage of their new souped-up system. Otherwise, we'll feel so lame for dropping another $300 or $400 on something that doesn't do that much new. And they might be required to this time around because the other manufacturers, the other platform holders are moving forward so fastly, and they're taking their specs to a much higher level. In order to keep up and continue third-party support, Nintendo does need to make a jump. So maybe this all works out no matter what. But I think the payment plan idea will be one that really helps gamers get in on this new console and maybe not feel as screwed over as well. I don't feel screwed over because I bought my Switch back in March of 2017. But if you get a Switch this holiday season and you're so pumped to play Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity and the Super Mario 3D All-Stars Collection and Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart and all the classics that have already established themselves as 10 million unit sellers on this system, you might feel a little burned if they announce a much better Switch Pro in March or April of 2021. But if you have a chance to get in on that for $20, will it feel that much of a burn? Probably not. I'm super eager to see how this all plays out and how gaming is changing. There are definitely elements that bug me and make me a little bummed out. The constant recycling of Battle Royale and these genres that encourage playing the same game over and over online with microtransactions and games as services. It's not the kind of games that I love most. I'm much more of a single-player fan, the tried and true Nintendo gameplay-focused experiences. But I do like that more and more companies are encouraging more and more to play. And they're making it more accessible, they're making it more inviting, and they're opening the doors for everyone to have a chance to experience all the fun that we get to have on our systems. So for that reason, it's a good thing. And I hope that Nintendo does invest in some sort of payment plan structure. And I hope that retailers make it an option so that you and I have a chance to get a Switch Pro without feeling like we have to buy a brand new console. I'm sure there'll be trade-up offers where you can swap your Switch for a couple $100 or maybe even just $100 to get a Switch Pro. But wouldn't it be nice to just do it slowly but surely, $20 at a time? What do you think? I know some of you would rather just pay it all up front or not pay it at all. Maybe the Switch Pro doesn't interest you. If the games are the same, why upgrade? Specs and resolution don't mean much to you, and that's okay. But let me know your take in the comments down below, and hit that like button if you're excited to see how gaming is changing, the future of where things go, and that Nintendo is a part of it. They will be a part of this in some capacity. If that Switch Pro launches with 4K capabilities in early 2021, they are a part of the conversation. They are, in a way, part of next gen without making the full-on transition. The Switch has already established itself as a game changer, and now more changes are coming. How will Nintendo adapt? I'm very eager to see. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Make sure to hit that like button. Let me know your take in the comments down below. And until next time, have a wonderful time. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart out there. I love you so much. Member special shout out. Hope to see you guys on the Mario 3D All-Stars coverage this week. Until that time, though, thanks again. SwitchForce out.